Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have a chess miniature to share with you from 1967. This is the game between Bobby Fischer, playing on the white end, and Peter Dely. So let's dive in and see what made Team Black throw in the towel after just 17 moves. E4 by Fischer. Sicilian on board. Open Sicilian. What variation? Classical, Knight c6. What follows is an attack developed by Bobby Fischer and Fischer-Sozin. If you're not picturing anything when you hear Fischer-Sozin Attack, let me fill you in. Let me help you out here. The Fischer-Sozin Attack is when White's pieces on the F-file look to influence the weakest square in Black's camp, F7. If you don't like that description, here's another. It's when White's king-bishop tries to become a beast. Let's see how. Bishop c4, e6, bishop b3. He's much more secure here. Gets out of the way of a rook attack and, well, much more directly, d5 punch. a6. f4 is not played to control e5. It's to attack this structure and hopefully extend the scope of the king-bishop. Queen a5. White castles, White gets out of the pin. Knight takes knight. Queen takes knight. And let's just pause for a moment. 10 moves in. A good move here for Black would be to develop. Bishop d7, bishop e7. I'd be leaning more towards bishop e7, bringing it to a point where you're now one step away from castling. In the game, however, Black goes astray with d5. Now, on the surface, it must be said, this seems like a pretty good move, because there's a serious threat connected with it. That threat being bishop to c5, winning the queen. However, White has a perfectly convenient reply to it. Bishop e3 follows. This is something White wanted to do anyhow. And now Black all of a sudden is in serious trouble, because the one positive that came with d5 has now been negated. White was not inconvenienced with bishop to e3, and so what remains are just all negatives for Black. What are these negatives? Well, d5 is wasting time. And maybe more importantly, d5 is welcoming exchanges at a moment where Black is behind in development. d5 is the point of no return. This position will now be cracked open, and Fischer is simply relentless from here. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Pawn takes knight. And unlike Mr. Dely, Fischer does not dilly-dally. How creative was that, right? Dilly-dally. First time I got to say that on this channel. Probably be the last. f5, not wasting any time, in other words, taking out e4. White is pushing through with this idea to extend the scope of the bishop. f5 is in, and Black, realizing things are getting out of control and that this position is soon to be cracked open, says, can we please get the queens exchanged? With queen to b4, Fischer takes on e6. Taking the queen now would allow pawn takes pawn, and only then the recapture. So, have to keep the material. It's already busted at this point. But what is tried is bishop takes e6. Bishop takes bishop. Pawn takes bishop. And here's the pop quiz of this game. 15 moves in. 2 more moves and Black throws in the towel. What does Fischer play next? If you'd like to, go ahead, pause the video. See if you can find the best continuation. Okay. In the game, we had rook takes bishop. The queen has to recapture, otherwise queen takes queen. And now just one more move. What is this exactly? How good a move is it? Well, queen to a4, and yeah, Black throws in the towel. Why? Well, maybe black was only anticipating a move like queen takes e4 here, throwing a punch at these two, but that could be defended with queen to e7. After queen to a4, what does black do? Let's look at the choices for the king. Going here? No. Going here? No. Running somewhere else with the king like this? Well, that's not going to work either. He's going to get hunted down by all of the white pieces. Crazy pig on board. How are you stopping queen c7? Let's just look at one variation. This is definitely not working. Leading to mate. Any other move? Well, there is one other move, and that is to not move the king. b5. However, after b5, what would follow is queen takes e4, and this move is now that much more powerful. She's no longer striking at e6 and b7, but rather the rook in the corner. There is not queen e7 to defend. What does this mean? The rook has to move. The queen is able to invade. We know what happens if the king goes to these two squares, bishop move or rook move. The rook has to block, and the typical piling up on the pinned piece with bishop to b6 following will soon win the rook. There's no way to save the game here for Team Black. The threat here is queen c6, and to simply scoop up the rook next. Black saw this already at the point of queen to a4, knew what was going to happen after b5, queen takes pawn, and basically all three pieces would be attacking the king, and this rook on the h8 square will not be contributing at all. So, a 17 mover, a quick kill, black wasted time, white simply punished Team Black for not getting on with development, opening up. Black trying to open up the position when he was behind the development was simply shot right down. Anyhow, feel free as usual to leave any feedback to this video in the comments section below. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.